Live from Bloomington, Indiana, it's the Unrivaled Postgame show as Penn State defeats Indiana today 45-14 on the road. And we welcome you live to Bloomington. Brian Tripp here, postgame. We hop right in. Bryce Effner, Penn State offensive lineman, is with us. And Bryce, what a dominant performance. And it all started by establishing the tone in the trenches. What were you guys able to do in the trenches right off the bat today?
We just wanted to come off the ball hard, come off the ball fast. I said the same thing last time we spoke. It's tough coming from a loss, but the greatest thing is you can turn that anger into something beautiful, which is a win, and we're very happy. So,
talk to me about the cohesion that you guys had up front. It was a different unit that you guys ran along the offensive line today. How did that come together throughout the week, and what did you like about your performance with that different group up front?
Yeah, we're just trying to get a lot of guys work, and we were working that this week, getting a lot of guys rotation, just kind of mix and matching everything just to see who fits where. And I think we had a pretty good layup or setup going throughout the week, and you could see that in this game because we did really good.
When you and I talked on Wednesday, we talked about blocking for these freshman running backs. It seems like they have a really good feel for the blocks. They allow those blocks to set up when they have to, too.
Yes, they do. Yeah. I thought Nick had a great game. I thought we call him Fat Man. I thought Fat Man had a great game. Fat Man's really patient with the ball, which is great. And Nick's just kind of like a bottle rocket. You just kind of point him in a direction and he'll go that way.
And as you can see the evolution of their game too, they're earning some hard yards for it. Freshmen.
Absolutely.
Sometimes can be averse to contact, like a younger guy you come in, but they're earning some physical yards here in the college game.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're physical guys. We're extremely proud to have them at Penn State. I'm extremely proud to block for them, and it's been an amazing season so far. I love having them.
When I tell you the numbers, 304 passing yards, 179 rushing yards, that's 483 total yards, 27 first downs. You go 7 for 16 on third downs today. After a game like this and you look through the box score, you check a lot of the boxes that Coach I know emphasize every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll come in Sunday morning, and obviously it's a great win, but you have to go over everything that you did wrong, really. That's kind of what you do. So we start the meetings, we have a great time, great win, but then it gets serious, and it's like we need to make these corrections for the next opponent, and that's kind of the focus of our next day practices. So.
And you and I also talked about the leadership coming into this game. What was important throughout the week to make sure you guys were ready to go when the ball was spotted and kicked away here this afternoon?
Leadership's role is really just to keep it together. Mm-hmm. So like I said, when you're coming from a loss, when you're deep in the season, it's easy to kind of lose focus, get lazy. I'm hurt. I don't want to do this. Why am I, doing this so like this? And then leadership's role is to step in and be like, hey, we have an obligation, not to yourself, but also your teammates and your coaches to have the best season possible. And we're not going to let that slip just because a loss. Like, we got to come back and we got to be better. And that's kind of leadership's role, in my opinion, is just keep everybody on the right track.
To start this year, Coach always talked about the depth. How was the depth on display today that your football team has?
Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of our younger offensive linemen. They did so good in there. Ian, Jimmy, Drew, if you guys are watching this, you did a great job. I'm so proud of you guys.
Really appreciate it, Bryce. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great job up front today.
Yeah,
Bryce Effner joining us here on the Unrivaled postgame show. He's going to step aside, a handshake with head coach James Franklin, and Coach is going to hop right in here. And I'm going to start by asking him about the offensive line because that's what I was told to do at halftime. Coach, I know this was a group that you were happy to assemble together today. We started the year talking about depth. How was the depth on display, and what did you like about their performance up front?
Yeah, I think the guy that you just talked to, Bryce Effner, is playing really well, and he's a critical part of our program. It brings a ton of value as a veteran, experienced player, so really proud of him. And then, you got a guy like Drew Shelton who starts as a true freshman at left tackle. That's unusual. You got JB, who hasn't played a lot of football for us, so for all those guys not only to play but play well on the road in the Big Ten, is something to be really proud of.
You start this game with Hunter on the defensive side. You lose Curtis early, Tyler Elsdon goes down. So Kobe King, whoever it may be, to have that mentality that you never know when your number is going to be called, to be ready to play. How important was that today?
Yeah, that was great. I don't know how you may know. I don't know how many tackles Kobe had, but it seemed like he had a ton. The number there says 8. It seems like he had a lot more than that, but played well. He's getting better every single week. Again, some guys got some bumps and bruises and got dinged up during the game. We had some guys the last couple of weeks, same thing. So, it's that time of the year in the Big Ten and in college football where you have these challenges. But I'm proud how Kobe and guys like him have stepped up and contributed in the way that we needed them to today.
What did you like about the defense's ability to get into the backfield and make plays?
Yeah, when you can say 16 tackles for loss, and that's the most I think we have had since they started doing that statistic from an NCAA perspective.
And 12 different guys as well came with.
Yeah, which is awesome, But not only that, it just makes it really difficult to run your offense when you're always off schedule. And Manny and the defense have done a great job. And to your point, 12 guys that are making impactful plays like that is phenomenal.
I talked to Mike yesterday about being in a rhythm as a play caller. When you're averaging nearly 6 yards per play, what does that allow, that balance and the rhythm you can establish offensively too?
Yeah, the complete opposite of what we're talking about, what our defense was able to do. We were able to stay on schedule. We were able to mix the run and the pass. Obviously both Katron and Nick have played well. They now both have the touchdown rushing record as freshmen at Penn State with 8 each. So, the bunch of really good things going on. It was great for Drew to get in the game. Sean played well, and our receivers continue to make plays. I thought the play that Brenton Strange had when he caught it on the guy's back was a phenomenal play. So gives us a ton to continue build on and get better next week.
Yeah, we're seeing that growth every week. Look at a touchdown there from Trey Wallace in the back of the end zone, and we'll end it with this. So on Nicholas and Katron, they're earning some hard physical yards too, and you can see their patience there, and that's hard to do as a freshman. They continue to grow with their performances each week.
Yeah, they really are, and obviously we put a ton on their plate. The other thing is no one's really talking about them a whole lot from a protection standpoint. They've had their issues a few times this year, but the fact that they're able to not only be productive as runners, those guys are also doing a great job, in the pass protection aspect, and it's one of those things no one talks about until something goes wrong.
And also 21 points off the 3 turnovers. So when you're capitalizing and getting the takeaways, you're turning them into points and touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that's really been kind of the story of our season. When we can create turnovers on defense and limit them on offense, we're tough to beat, and we got to continue to build on that.
Coach, really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Congrats. You as well. And thanks for talking about the O-line. Those guys need love too. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime. Head coach James Franklin with us here postgame as the Nittany Lions defeat Indiana by a 45-14 final score today here in Bloomington. Nick Tarburton is going to join us in just a little bit here as well on the Unrivaled postgame show live here from Bloomington. 16th ranked Penn State goes on the road and defeats the Indiana Hoosiers by a 45-14 final score. We'll run through some of those numbers quickly for you as Nick Tarburton is going to make his way down here to the media room, but 483 total yards. Held Indiana as well. That defense just 196 total yards today. Penn State passes for 304. Indiana with just 131 passing, and a lot of those coming in the fourth quarter. And then rushing, Penn State 179 rushing yards. Indiana with just 65 rushing yards as Penn State had all those tackles for loss. 16 tackles for loss, 6 sacks in this football game today. Kobe King with 8 tackles, 2.5 for a loss. And again, Penn State gets a little bit dinged up early, but you can see the defense flying to the ball all day long there in the backfield. Made things just a nightmare for Indiana. As Coach just talked about, getting them behind schedule. Amin Vanover, PJ Mustafer, Chop Robinson, Denai Dennis Sutton. The list goes on and on. Nick Tarburton, who's going to join us here in just a moment. But of Penn State, again, 6 sacks, 16 tackles for loss. 12 players on the team had a tackle for loss today. Those 6 sacks by 6 different players. Way back in July when we were at Big Ten Media Days, one of the first questions I asked Coach was about his roster. What did you like about the makeup of your roster? And he said the biggest difference from last year to this year, and it goes to whether it's transfers coming in, the freshman class having an immediate impact, is the depth of his football team. That's on display today. So was the leadership from a guy like Jair Brown, who had that tackle for loss there. And there's Robinson again. I mean, it was just a nightmare. Indiana goes through 3 quarterbacks. Devon Ellie's made a big play in the middle. So Penn State defensively getting after the quarterback all day long, making big plays in the backfield and putting Indiana behind the sticks all day. And Penn State's defense was swarming to the football, and it's great to see Charlie Catcher make a great play right there. So that can be what's said about the Penn State defense. And then up front, the pass protection of the Penn State run game today. When you look at what Penn State was able to do with its makeshift line, Drew Shelton makes his first start at left tackle, had a tremendous game. Hunter Norzad goes down early, as Coach talked about. So J.B. Nelson steps in, Juice Scruggs, Sal Wormley, who left the game late, and then Bryce Effner. Those five up front. Penn State running the ball successfully, 179 yards. In total, 6 yards per play today of total offense, 483 yards. Katron Allen, just a great performance. You can see his speed, his physicality, his vision, his burst. 18 carries, 86 yards, 3 touchdowns. With the passing game today, too, Allen was heavily involved. So in total, he goes over 100 total yards. Allen with 86 yards on the ground and also had 72 yards receiving in this one for Penn State. Nicholas Singleton, 16 carries, 73 yards and a touchdown. And they had to earn those yards. There were some hard physical yards for them to earn up front. There's Allen into the end zone. Allen cashes in 3 times, 3 touchdowns today for the freshman that they affectionately call Fat Man, and Nicholas Singleton with 16 carries, 73 yards and a touchdown. Also got to see Tank Smith on his birthday late in this game, and Tyler Holsworth, who's just a great development squad player, getting an opportunity to play. And look, coming into this game, you set some goals, and I think Penn State checks each and every of those boxes today. Big plays were there, as you see the explosive play, Allen with the run after catch, the defense able to create takeaways, but also because they built a lead early, they're able to get valuable reps for Drew Aller in this game. Sean Clifford was very efficient and effective, and Drew Aller comes into this game late and gets some valuable reps as well for Penn State as they defeat Indiana by a final score of 45-14. It was 7-7 in the second quarter, and then Penn State rips off 38 unanswered points before the Hoosiers strike for a late touchdown in this one. But 45-14 is our final score here today. While we wait for Nick Tarburton to talk about how this game went down, let's run back through the highlights of today's game. Penn State on the road at Indiana here at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington. It was windy. That's not just a breeze. That is a full-on wind gust, but it didn't slow down the Penn State offense. Nittany Lions trying to establish that run game from the get-go today. Katron Allen, hard yards there here on their continuing this possession. No score, downfield. Mitchell Tinsley had 2 huge catches on third downs on that drive. Sets it up, Penn State down, 1st and goal, and then Singleton takes the toss. He gets in. Nittany Lions take a 7-0 lead. Penn State's defense was in the backfield all day long. There's Nick Tarburton with a big play in the backfield. Indiana looking for a touchdown to answer, and they do. Credit Jack Tuttle, who did a great job on the ground running the football, set up that touchdown. The Hoosiers score, rally, tie it at 7, but from that point on, it was that Penn State defense just suffocating here today into the backfield. Jair Brown, and in the second quarter, Penn State starts to take control of this football game. 7-7, and it's Katron Allen using his speed, his footwork, gets to the outside. Tarburton sets up Penn State inside the red zone. I said Tarburton, make that Katron Allen. Tarburton's on his way. He's going to be with us here in a minute. And then Allen to the goal line. He scores. Penn State goes in front 14-7, the first of his 3 touchdowns today. Clifford getting the tight ends involved. Theo Johnson, great catch and run there. Penn State attempting to add to a 14-7 lead. Here's Allen again. Stutter steps down inside the 10. 1st and goal. Go right back to him. Katron Allen. And this is just a great individual effort that time. Was really not a well-blocked play. He goes in and Penn State takes a 21-7 lead. Would not look back. Continue to pressure Tuttle, the quarterback for Indiana. He was banged up in this game. Chop Robinson, Devon Ellies combined for the sack. Tuttle again. There were 3 straight plays where Penn State was in the backfield creating tackles for loss. Penn State gets great field position. After a good Parker Washington return, 21-7, Nittany Lions at the end of the half, and this is Jake Pinniger from 50 yards, a new career long. It's the 30th kick of 50 or more yards in the illustrious history of Penn State football, and a strong way to end the half. Makes it a 3-score game going into the locker room at 24-7. Third quarter defense, 3 takeaways today. There's the pick for Kalen King on the deep ball down inside the 10. Penn State has to go 96 yards. It would end up being a 96-yard drive for a touchdown, the longest drive by Penn State this year. A spectacular catch by Strange, a penalty on the next play, and here is Allen In space, Allen down the sideline, wiggling through the secondary, zigs and zags, and whoop, there he goes down the sideline. Katron Allen, 72 yards receiving today as well, and it sets up Penn State first down and goal. Handoff Allen. It's his third touchdown. He scored 3 in a row for Penn State there, and the Nittany Lions add to a 24-7 lead at that point, 31-7 Nittany Lions. Indiana just trying to get something going offensively. Ball batted and denied. Dennis Sutton picks it up, the freshman, on the deflection with the interception, and Penn State once again holds against Indiana. Drew Aller gets a chance to play with Penn State up 31-7. How's that on a third and goal? Rolling out, zips it into the back of the end zone for Harrison Wallace. Touchdown Penn State, 38-7 the score. And how about this one? Daquan Hardy reading the quarterback's eyes, sets up, throws high. Hardy waiting for it. He nearly had his second career pick six. He's tripped up down inside the 5-yard line. No fly zone. That Penn State secondary stifling today. Held Indiana just 131 passing yards. Passing not a problem, though, for Aller. Finds Theo Johnson there. Indiana does convert a touchdown late, and that gets us to our final score of 45-14. But Nick Tarburton's going to be on his way down. He's going to join us here. There's head coach James Franklin greeting with Tom Allen after the game. Tom Allen does a great job with Indiana's program. I know there's a lot of mutual respect there. And Nick Tarburton will be joining us here in just a minute. And after Nick, we'll wrap things up. Don't forget, coming up next week, Penn State is back at home taking on Maryland. It's one of those 6-day kickoff windows. We should find that kickoff timeout here, hopefully tonight, tomorrow. Penn State back at Beaver Stadium next Saturday. Then the Nittany Lions go on the road to take on Rutgers. And then against Michigan State, 3 more games here, a chance to go 1-0 each week as Penn State gets the win today and improves to 7-2 on the season. Nittany Lions a chance to finish strong here in November on what was a warm but very windy day here in Bloomington, Indiana. So again, we're waiting just one moment here. We want to talk to the defense and one of those defensive linemen, Nick Tarburton, who had a great game. And then we'll pack things up and hit the road. Catch that plane, get back to Happy Valley here probably 11:30, 12 o'clock tonight. And Penn State will begin preparations for the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland next week at Beaver Stadium, and the crowd can have a significant impact on that game the same way they did against Minnesota, against Ohio State. It's really important. This team has an opportunity still to accomplish a lot of things this year, and that includes going 1-0 next week at home as Penn State welcomes Maryland and a very good Maryland team coming to Beaver Stadium next weekend, so we can't wait for that. Fans, if you're coming to the game, please exercise and practice Happy Valley hospitality. Show your Penn State pride. Be respectful. Be great fans. Be responsible. Be gracious hosts. As always, Penn State has the best, I mean the best fans in college sports. So we remind you to please act accordingly and showcase that great Penn State pride next week. And if you're coming to the game, we don't want you to get to the gate and have to turn back to your car or your motorhome, your RV, whatever you bring to the game, your truck, your SUV with any bags. Know our Beaver Stadium clear bag policy. Also, this applies to other events on campus. 12 inches by 6 inches by 12 inches, a clear tote bag, or the resealable 1-gallon bag. Folks, you can bring a small clutch or wristlet into Beaver Stadium. There's a list. We'll give you a couple of moments here to look over that list of what is not permitted, what is not permitted. As always, when you're coming to the game, make sure you know your route before you start to head into those tailgating lots. Get ready for the game. Our football game day traffic pattern is in place again this season. For more information, go to gopsusports.com/game day. There's those DeWalt benches. DeWalt is the proud sponsor of our benches at Beaver Stadium. Also, partner on the road for many of these Big Ten schools. Penn State can't wait to get back home next weekend. They'll be on those DeWalt benches, the presenting sponsor of our benches at Beaver Stadium. And then also, folks, remember to download the Nittany Lions app, the Penn State Nittany Lions app. By now, you probably have the new app installed. Again, it's Penn State Nittany Lions, action required. That way you can find your tickets. You can get into Beaver Stadium on game day and not have any issues there. So let's go back through Penn State's touchdowns one last time. We're going to give Nick Tarburton 2 more minutes to get here, or else we're cutting it off. There's Nicholas Singleton getting into the end zone. Penn State, 4 touchdowns on the ground today from 2 freshmen, totaling those 4 touchdowns. Singleton to the outside, Gallups into the end zone, and that's just well blocked. We talk so much about that offensive line. Shelton, Nelson, Scruggs, Wormley, Effner up front, Norzad, and then late in the game, they're able to get some other bodies in there as well. There's Katron Allen into the end zone, his first of 3 touchdowns today. What was just a really impressive day on the ground for Penn State. Allen here, that's just a great individual effort. Look at that, shifting his way through the defense. Hard to believe these 2 guys are freshmen. He had 18 for 86 and 3 scores. Singleton, 16 for 73 and a score. And this is Jake Pinniger's 50-yard field goal, which is a new career best. I see Chop Robinson sitting out there. We're just waiting on Nick Tarburton here as we go through Penn State scores one more time. This is Allen. Allen into the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the day made it 31-7 Penn State at that point. And remember, this is a group that was banged up front. And then we'll take a look at the 2 touchdown passes by Aller. I don't think we're going to get Nick Tarburton. Maybe he's back watching the Phillies game. Did the Phillies game start yet? He's probably watching Penn State hockey taking on number 1 Michigan again. Big upset last night. Aller here, Theo Johnson, and Penn State and Penn State wins it by a 45-14 final score. And you know what? I don't want to jinx it. I think we do have Nick Tarburton coming our way. Welcome to the beauty of a live broadcast, everybody. He's coming in. And Nick Tarburton's going to make his way over here as that Penn State defense again combines today for 6 sacks and 16 tackles for loss. I'm just going to do a little reorganizing. I already knocked my phone off once when we had Bryce Effner on to kick this off. So now we go to the defensive side with Nick Tarburton. Nick, what did you like about the defense's ability to get after the quarterback today?
Yeah, I think it was something that we kind of took to heart after last week. We felt like we didn't get the job done as a defensive line getting to the quarterback. And, all week, this is kind of what our kind of plan was, man, is we just, we wanted to affect the quarterback and, do everything we could to, make a big impact in this game.
How important, too, is it to make an offense one-dimensional? You're seeing some plays here. They weren't able to get that running game going, so that allows you then to key in those 3rd and long situations to rush the passer.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. Obviously we speak about it every week, and, kind of our game plan. We got to stop the run, to earn the right to pass rush is kind of how we look at it.
And we're seeing it. I think this is probably the craziest part to me. 12 different players with a tackle for loss. The 6 sacks came from 6 different guys, including yourself. What kind of depth do you have in that defensive line group that you have?
Yeah, I think it's impressive, and I think it's something that we use as one of our strengths. We're able to kind of just rotate guys whenever we need to. If dudes are winded, there's no second guessing anything. We're going to throw guys out there, get fresh guys out there, every single down.
When you go through a Big Ten schedule like this, how important is that, especially this time of year, so everyone does feel fresh?
Yeah, no, it's extremely important. And obviously coming down these next few weeks, these are kind of the dog weeks. Everybody's banged up, this and that. Everybody knows that, but it's kind of how you control that and how you're able to push through that and play through that.
Speaking of banged up, your defense had a couple of guys go down early. What was it like to see Kobe King flying around out there at middle linebacker?
No, it was awesome to see, and I was talking about him with PJ and a few other guys on the sideline. Before the game was over, I was just like, man, he's flying around. He looks good. So it was awesome to see him do his thing.
How important is it for yourself, PJ, whoever it may be, as this game goes on, you guys are still engaged on that sideline. You're coaching these guys up, and also you're so excited to see them have those opportunities. Like that has to be so much fun for you as an upperclassman to see a freshman come in, deny getting that pick. It's very cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and that, kind of that's
that's the team you have too, right?
Exactly.
It's the culture.
Exactly. Yeah, roles reversed. I was that young guy that was getting in that time. You know what I'm saying? And was excited to play. And now I'm that, that veteran guy now that, is sitting back and gets to watch these guys, have fun and, some of them getting their first meaningful reps. It's really cool to see.
What's the post-game meal?
I don't know. I don't know what we got over there. I'm hoping Chick-fil-A is usually on the plane, so I'm hoping Chick-fil-A.
Well, I'm going to pack this up and go eat. I'm starving. Nick,
Yes, sir.
Congrats on a great win today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Nick Tarburton with us here post-game as Penn State defeats Indiana by a 45-14 final score. Great work by Sean McDermott producing today's broadcast from back in Happy Valley. Penn State and Maryland, we know that kick time sometime here in the next 24 hours. We can't wait to see you back at Beaver Stadium next weekend. We'll be back with you on Wednesday for another episode of the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show. Thanks for sticking with us today, everyone. It was great to hear from both sides of the football and head coach James Franklin. Bryce Effner, Nick Tarburton, great stuff. As always, as Penn State wins it big on the road 45-14. We'll talk to you on Wednesday with the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from Bloomington after Penn State defeats Indiana 45-14.